Going on, guys, welcome back to another build video. This build video is for my Demon Knight, which is a 2-bar PvP Dragonknight build. So we'll jump straight into it. So first things first, we'll go into the skills. So this is the defensive back bar, which is sword and bald. We're running molten armaments, which gives you the major brutality and sorcery, increasing your damage. We've got the hardened armor, which will give you your major resolve, some more resistances. You also gain a damage shield, which scales off your max health, and also deals flame damage. We've got coagulating blood, which is your heal. We've got resolving vigor, which again is your heal and minor resolve source. We've got race against time, which is your movement speed buff and critical damage, minor force. We've got the undo, but you want the morph. I haven't got that yet, which will give you the minor protection. The front bar, which is dual wield. We're running shattering rocks, which is your CC. It also heals you as well, which is very nice. Flames of Oblivion, which launches fireballs at your enemies. Also grants you major savagery and prophecy, so get your spell and weapon critical rating up. We are running molten whip, which will set them off balance. It deals flame damage and also stacks weapon damage the more you activate it. We have deep breath, which it does like a flame damage of AoE, also heals you, sets them off balance. That's very, very strong. Also good for night blades as well. These two are both good for night blades. We've got noxious breath, which again deals your poison damage and poison damage over time, and also gives you the major breach. And we're running the awesome ferocious leap, which launches yourself at an enemy, dealing flame damage, and also gives you a massive shield of nearly 40k. It does obviously drop in a PvP environment, but it's still very, very strong. So we'll go into the sets. So I've made some changes. It's similar to my previous Dragonknight 2-bar build, but this is a lot more defensive and a lot stronger and a lot more higher mobility. So on the back bar, we are running Rallying Cry Dagger. Any Rallying Cry one-handed will do in defending, and I've just got Restores Magicka. It's nice to have a Restore Magicka source because you're running two melee setups, so there is no Magicka return from heavy attacks, but there will be with this. Rallying Cry Shield with a multi-effect enchantment. This is impenetrable. You don't really need to gold those out as they are back bar weapons, but you can if you wish. The front bar is Burning Spellweave Maces. We've got two of them, both in sharpened. And I've also got poison damage at the moment. So poison damage, poison. So very, very strong. Deals a lot of poison damage. So you get plenty of dots on your players, and this is just adding to it. Obviously, I've got them gold as well if you can. Obviously, they're your main damage weapons. But, you know, two maces, both sharp and very, very nice. And Burning Spellweave, when you deal damage with a flame damage ability, you apply the burning status effect and increase your weapon and spell damage by 490. So that's going to be proccing all the time because Dragonknight's abilities, most of them are flame. So that'll be proccing all the time. So you won't have any worries there. The next set we're running is the Balorg. We're running a medium head tri-stat in Divines. You can go reinforced with this if you wish, but I only had Divines, and this gives you when you when you use an ultimate ability, you'll gain more weapon and spell damage equal to the total of the ultimate consumed, and you also gain penetration 23 times. So it's going to give you a ton of pen and extra weapon damage. Grasp of the Trainee, which is what most people put on the chest. It's reinforced. Heavy with tri-stat. The shoulders are Balorg Arm Corps medium, tri-stat impenetrable. Rallying Cry Sash, tri-stat impenetrable. Burning Spellweave Gloves light. Divines tri-stat. Rallying Cry breeches, light, reinforced tri-stat. And we've got Rallying Cry shoes. We've got max stamina there, well fitted, and that's light. And of course we are running the Sea Serpent's Coil, which is very, very strong. This will give you major berserk and major courage, and you also get 40% damage reduction at full health. Very, very strong. I know a lot of people don't like using this, but I've made some adjustments where this will not snare you as much, and it's almost not, I wouldn't say it's still noticeable, but it's definitely not an issue. Definitely, in my opinion, it's not an issue. We've also got a reduced magicka cost of spells on this. Burning spell with rings, 2 of them, both arcane with weapon damage enchantments. So we are running 1 heavy, 2 medium, and 4 light. So it is quite a lot of light on the build, but it's not a problem. I said if you can make the big pieces reinforced, that will help you, and I'd probably recommend impenetrable or well fitted on the smaller pieces, and just try and tri-stat everything, as we're running smoked bear haunch or Jewels of Misrule, which does make the bars a bit small, so I do recommend to tri-stat everything if you can. But we'll jump into the other bits of the build now. So we go for the champion points. So the blue, I've got resilience for more critical resistance, deadly aim for more damage, master arms for more damage, and fighting finesse for more critical damage and critical healing. We've got bastion to make your shields even bigger, because we're running a few shields on this build. Got pain's refuge to reduce your damage taken, rejuvenation for more recoveries, and fortified for a bit of armour. So these are your stats completely unbuffed. We've got 38 into health, 26 into stamina. The Atronach for the Magicka Recovery Mundus. And Vampire Stage 3. Make sure you have that for the Undeath passive. We're running Jewels of Misrule at the moment, but ideally Smoke Bear Haunch or Jewels of Misrule. There's not a lot in it, to be honest, but obviously Smoke Bear Haunch is slightly better. We'll just show the back bar stats as well. So this is all completely unbuffed. Let's just quickly buff up. Just show the defensive stuff on the back bar. So you've got 29k spell resistance, 26k physical, the recoveries, I pop the potion. The magical recovery is nearly 2k, and the stamina is about 1400. The critical resistance will go up because the Rallying Cry procs only in PvP environments, so you'll get 4k critical resistance. This build has 20k pen, 30k pen in total, sorry. And the weapon damage will go up to about 7.4k. That's with continuous attack, so it's very, very nice there. I'll just show you the pen quickly. Over we've got the thing. So we'll just quickly buff up. I can't show you the weapon damage again because that has to be done in the PvP environment. But I did include the clips at the beginning just to see. So you've got 21k pen there. And also you've got you get another 6k from the major breach. So that's 27k. And I actually haven't got the full passives on the twin blade and blunt. So you will get a little bit more. So that's why I'm not touching the 30k, I'm about 27. But you will be touching about 29k, give or take, with the full passives. So make sure you have all your passives in there. Right, yeah, so let's just explain the build a little bit. So, of course, this is your sword and ball, this is your back bar, so you're on here the most of the time. This is your defensive back bar. So you just want to stay here until you're ready to attack people. Like I said, you've got quite a bit of health. It's at 32.5, and like I said, the magic and stamina, you want at least around the 20k mark if you can. Let's just quickly buff up again. So these are all your defensive skills, so you just buff them up before you go into combat, and then press your Flames of Oblivion. So when you're near an enemy, it will launch the fireballs, and then you just come in with your abilities. So we'll just do a Noxious Breath, draw the flame one, and do your whips. Make sure you CC them, obviously, and then you can drop your ultimate if you're in trouble, because it will give you a damage shield, or if you just want to finish people off. Leap's like one of my favourite skills in the game, and it's really, really good. Obviously, try to leap when your Sea Serpent procs, because that's when you're going to get the maximum damage. So you want to try and proc your Rallying Cry. So obviously when you heal on the back bar, it will proc, and then your Sea Serpents will proc. And then obviously that's when you really want to be dropping your leaps, because they're going to hit super, super hard. It's just all about timing, really. This build is about timing. You're not dependent on the 500 ultimate. It's just going to give you the maximum benefit. You've still got quite a lot of pen. Nearly 30k, absolute 500 ult. But if you had half that ult, or say you was only waiting for just 135 on the leap, you're still probably going to be hitting about 20k pen. It's still quite a lot, so it's not dependent on that. And also, let's discuss about the Sea Serpent snare. A lot of people complain that the Sea Serpent snare is too much, and they are right, but there is things you can do to make things a lot better. So first things first, I am an orc. I always recommend, if you're going to use Sea Serpents, it's best to run orc, because they get the unique movement speed buff, which other races do not get. So you're going to get another 10% movement speed buff, and also reduce the cost of sprint. That's very, very nice there. And also I've got the channeled, is it channeled Race Against Time, or channeled Race Against Time. So when you press this, it's going to remove any snares. So when it procs, I'll just throw this, and then as you can see, I'm moving quite fast. But when the Sea Serpent actually procs, actually what we'll do is we'll quickly go somewhere where there's enemies, just to show you. So we've got two speed sources, basically. You've got one from the orc, and you've got one from the Race Against Time, which I think is more than enough, as I'll show you quickly. You still will be snared, obviously, but it's not as bad as what people say. Also, the more heavy you run, the slower you're going to be, so that's why the build has more light and medium than heavy pieces. So let's just quickly get, so there it is, it's proccing. That's not too bad. I think the movement speed buff is quite nice. And if it's still not enough for you, let's just quickly get rid of these jackals. Yeah, if it's still not enough for you, then you can go into the champion points, and you can say drop Bastion for celerity, which will give you even more movement speed. I feel it's enough, but if you do want that little bit extra, you can run that. You can also run Swift if you wish, but I don't think it's necessary if you have this set up as it is. I mean, if you're not an orc and you're not running channeled acceleration and other things, then you might want to start pushing into Swift. But of course, you're going to be losing stats and damage, which is not really ideal. I mean, obviously, you can just put one on if you wish, but like I said, it's fine as it is. You've got the movement speed. It's really not that bad. It's not really, it's still noticeable, like I said, but it's not awful by any means. So yeah, you've got the weapon criticals pretty high, 33%. The critical damage isn't super high. It's at 22% plus the 50, so you're at 72% critical damage bonus. But like I said, the damage really is coming from all the buffs of major protection, major berserk and major courage, all stacking with the rallying cry proccing, and just stacking lots of weapon damage and pen, and that's what's going to make you hit super hard. So yeah, I think that's the build fully explained. I don't think I've missed anything, so I'll just leave you with the clips now of the gameplay. It's a lot of fun to play, but it is all about timing, as I've said, so it needs a bit of time to master the build, and make sure you're lining up correctly, everything all at once, and then you're going to hit super hard if you do it all correctly. Like I said, if you just button mash and you're not sure what you're doing, you're going to run into problems with this build. So it's not really super beginner friendly. Just take your time with it, practice with it, and you'll get really good at it. And it does hit very hard, and it's got plenty of defense and mobility as well. So hope you enjoyed the build video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.